Hi, everybody. My name is Ruth Sternberg, and I am a career navigation coach. I work with job seekers to help them explain their value to employers so that they can get an interview and get an offer. I am bringing to you various interviews with career professionals and other types of professionals and job seekers to help you with your job search. And today I'm talking with Rod Lockwood. Rod is a therapist with a very interesting background, and he knows a lot about the stress, a lot of the stress that we're going through. I'm recording this during our period of self-isolation, and I'm just going to let him tell you a little bit about himself. Rod?
Hello, Ruth. So yes, I used to be a journalist. I've been a mental health counselor in Toledo, Ohio, mental health therapist for 6 years now. Before that, for like 30 years, I was a journalist. I did a number of different jobs. I was a city editor, assistant city editor, reporter. For the end of my career, I was a features editor at The Blade here in Toledo. And when I was about in my early 50s, I switched careers for a number of reasons. Went back, got my master's degree in mental health counseling from the University of Toledo. Worked for an agency called the ZEP Center, a community mental health agency that does really good work for people who are on the lower end of the economic scale. Did that in Toledo. That was with the severe and persistently mentally ill population. So people with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, generalized anxiety disorder, depression, et cetera, et cetera. About a year ago, I went out on my own and started Rod Lockwood Therapy Services, LLC. So I have an office here in Toledo. I have about 40 clients. Excuse me. I also work at an agency on Tuesday nights, the Family and Child Abuse Prevention Center, which I work with, co-facilitate a group to work with men who have been charged with domestic violence. They're on a 26-week kind of a program to generally required by Children's Services or the courts. So I do that work on Tuesdays. I'm trained in cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm trained in dialectical behavior therapy, which I really like, which is a skills-based approach to therapy.
And you also,
processing.
not only have you changed careers, and that was a big change, but you yourself have some personal experience with very serious illnesses like the one that we've been going through, right?
Yeah, yes. That's the coronavirus has sort of caused me to remember some things that happened. I think it was 1997.
Yeah.
I would have been in my mid-30s. And if anybody's ever seen the TV show House, I was almost like an episode of House, where the doctor has to try to figure out what is wrong with this person. And a very long story, very short. I almost died from a mysterious virus. They were going to put me on a ventilator, yada, yada, yada. I kind of tried to forget about all that, but the coronavirus brought it all back up. So it has created an interesting a dynamic for me personally going through all this of being careful, but at the same time, still, actively engaging in life. But yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you're seeing people who experience depression and other issues, right? That relate to that also are being affected by what's going on right now, right? What generally share with us some of the things that you are seeing?
Sure. I've got clients who've lost jobs. I had a client, young man, 27, 28 years old, found his kind of like his dream job in marketing, but it's with a company that does a lot of conventions and those sort of things. So boom, he lost his job.
Yeah.
Another young client who was going out on his own, very creative guy. Coronavirus hits, nobody's doing any of the work that he does. So that's going on all around, of people struggling with the stress of their finances, of trying to find jobs in an age of uncertainty. Then the other thing that I have a fair number of clients and friends too who are trying to deal with working from home.
Mm.
Gosh, another one is parents. Parents are not teachers. And in this, right, in this current
Yeah.
time, they're being required to be teachers while working from home. And their kids aren't going out and going to school and going to activities and, burning off all that energy. So a lot of stress.
But that, we're reading a lot of people that are having anxiety issues and depression issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's different from stress, though, isn't it?
Yeah, anxiety especially. People kind of confuse anxiety and stress. And stress is something that we need. Human beings need a certain amount of stress to motivate them, or otherwise we'd all be sitting around on an island relaxing. But we're not. So we need that sort of one of the models for stress and anxiety is, if you think of stress just kind of like what is questions. What is it I need to do today? What is it I need to do to resolve this problem? What is it I need to do to make this appointment on time? You could go on and on with these what is questions.
Right.
And constant stress is very bad, obviously. And we can talk in a minute about coping skills, but anxiety then is what if. And when you find yourself really getting wrapped up in racing thoughts, rumination, what if I get the virus? What if I can never find a job ever again? What if we lose all our money? Those are dangerous areas to go, and that's way more of your anxiety.
There's a lot of that right now.
Exactly. Yep. So the key to that is to try to turn those questions into, what if I lose my job? Okay, well, what is it I need to do to keep my job? Maybe I need to learn new skills. Maybe I need to embrace teletherapy or telecommuting. So it's to do that. We were talking earlier, you're lucky you have good support in your life. You need supportive people around you who can validate your concerns, but also help turn that anxiety into problem solving. Or even just venting, right? I mean, that's okay to vent. And, but it's to not get caught there. That's the key. And people who end up with sort of pathological anxiety, they get stuck there, right? And they can't get out of it. So the key is to find ways out of that what if thinking.
So you find yourself out of a job, and I always say there's a grief process when you lose something, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Person, a job, whatever it is, you need to give yourself a little bit of time to just feel what you're feeling. And then it's time for the strategies and the action. What action do you think people should take to kind of, feel confident and know that it's going to feel like they have some control, even though in reality we know we don't have any, but that's a whole different subject.
Right. You're absolutely right. That step of taking action is usually a really good thing for people. So one of the things, seriously, right now, make sure you apply for any jobless benefits that you're entitled to get, so you can help yourself financially. Consider hiring, if you can afford it, hiring somebody like you, Ruth, who can help a person define what it is they want to do.
And a lot of coaches, including me, are offering reductions and price reductions, and also payment plans, because we want you to succeed.
Yep. A certain level of acceptance is often necessary to get through difficult times, meaning, constantly saying, I shouldn't have lost my job. It's unfair, et cetera, all that kind of thinking is only going to get you trapped into some really negative patterns. So a certain level of acceptance of, this is my life right now, and this is what I have to do. This is what am I telling myself? If I'm telling myself this is unfair, it's not right, that's not going to help you. If you're telling yourself, okay, I'm going to take it one step every day toward that next job. Whether it's attending one of these online happy hours, whether it's reaching out to a coach, whether it's reaching out to a therapist.
And it's
Talking to
reaching out
them.
to colleagues, old,
Yep.
colleagues, networking.
Yep.
Don't just sit there.
Yep. And I think also because of the time we're in right now, there's a certain amount of people who are naturally patient will be better off than people who are not. Because some of this is truly a waiting it out kind of a thing. We all have to be safe. We also all have to be realistic that a lot of businesses are going to slowly ramp back up. The goal, I think, is to be on the ramp, right? When they're ramping up so that you're in the door.
Oh, I love
soon as
that.
possible.
I love that. Be on the ramp.
Right.
Got it.
Right. And then the other part of that is take care of yourself. Try to get exercise. Try to reach out to your friends. These Zoom things that people are doing are fantastic. I've had some really cool interactions with people. My wife and her sisters were on one for 3 hours on a recent Sunday, and there's 5 of them, but it was really neat, because they were just talking about different stuff, and there was normal, like, conversational, quiet parts and stuff. It was really cool. But keep that stuff going as much as you can, and try not to fall into negative habits.
Yeah, I say establish a routine right from the outset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to, do my exercise. I'm going to have my coffee. And then today I'm going to contact 2 people.
Right.
And have a manageable goal, because you want to be able to feel successful and say, I did it. I did my thing today.
Yeah.
I feel good. I'm on my way.
Right.
Any step forward is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And when you set your goals, you don't want them to be too hard to accomplish. You don't want them to be too easy. You want them to be in that kind of sweet spot where it keeps you active, right?
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? I made a few notes.
I don't think so, no.
I think those are I really do think those are the big things right now is, so we need to recognize if it's stress or anxiety, and get ourselves out of the boot loop of constantly obsessing about what could happen, and pivot over to, okay, does that have a solution? What's the solution? What should I do? Make a plan and follow it. Alternatively, if you feel like you are unable to get out of that spiral, get some help.
Right. It's so hard. My final thought on this is it's so hard when you're in the moment to recognize that it's temporary. No matter how bad something seems, and I'm not talking about, fatal diseases and that sort of thing. I'm talking about like just life stuff.
Right.
It will get better. It really will. The coronavirus thing 2 years from now will be this weird thing we talk about and remember when, but we won't be living like this, forever. I think that's really important to keep in mind.
Good advice. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you, Ruth.
I hope that all of you watching have gotten something really good out of this that you can use. I'm going to put some links in the description for this video, so that if you do need to speak with someone, you can contact Rod, and you can also contact me. And I hope all of you have a great day.
Thanks.